Welcome to the Burrillville School Committee, September 11th, 2018, 6:30 p.m. regular session, Burrillville High School Media Center, 425 East Avenue, Harrisville, Rhode Island. Members present, all with the exception of Mr. Tessier, who is excused. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing after the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could have a moment of silence for the 2,977 victims of the attacks on our country, September 11th, 2001, 17 years ago today. Thank you. Item 2, recognition. Having none this evening. Item 3, consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes minutes of the regular meeting dated August 14th, 2018, and to approve the school warrant number 2 for the month of August, dated September 11, 2018, for grand total expenditures of $2,154,466.35, and to award the bid for the Stair Farm Elementary Water System Booster Pump Station to Gustavo Preston Company Incorporated of Chelmsford, Massachusetts, in the amount of $28,500.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? Having none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, I will abstain, so I was not here for the last meeting for the minutes.
Thank you. Item 4, presentations by the public to the school committee. We have none this evening.
The
Well,
Cartwell's
we do have one,
introduction.
Cartwell introduction.
Chartwell's
Chartwell's.
a new food service provider.
Oh,
Very
very nice. Just in time, you're up.
Just in time, isn't it perfect?
If you could just go to the podium, please, with your things.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hello, everyone, committee and residents. My name is Shana DiPetrillo. I am the new food service director for Chartwell's. It's a new company that had taken over from my predecessor, who was Aramark, and I am the food service director for both Burrillville and Smithfield. This evening, I just wanted to introduce myself to the committee and to the folks that are here, and just letting you know that we're really excited about the new company that has come in. I had the pleasure of visiting many of the Burrillville schools last week, and I had wonderful feedback from not only the associates, from the students as well. I find the quality of the food, and they found the quality of food was better, fresher. The trays looked better going out, with some of the things that I've heard from teachers and staff and things like that. The presentation was much better. Sales the first couple weeks of school are relatively soft pretty much every year. Kids are nervous, they're unsure of where their classes are, and things like that kind of all come into play in regards to sales. But I am confident that with the new company, with the new services that we're implementing, that the sales will increase from the Aramark sales. The staff has mostly stayed the same, which has been wonderful. There's been a very smooth transition in regards to staffing. So most of the lunch ladies that you've had in the previous years have also stayed with us. It's been wonderful to keep and retain all of those seasoned employees, not only because it's easier for the company for transition reasons, but for the children and for the staff as well. You're used to seeing that same happy face every day, and we have been able to retain about 99% of the employees through the transition. One wonderful thing that I have been in contact with some parents and some nurses in regards to is something called NutriSlice. So the wonderful thing about NutriSlice, it's actually how we post our menus onto the website. So I actually have some flyers here for parents and for any committee members who are interested. NutriSlice is the program that we use to upload our menus to your website, your local website, the Burrillville school district website as well. The great thing about it is the menus are posted for the month. So right now we have September up. October will be up posted as the 22nd of September. And the great thing is it shows not only your daily choices, but there's actually a spot on the website and an app that you can download to your phone that is a great resource not only for students and parents, but for nurses in the schools. Once you download the app, all you have to do is click on your daily choice, and what happens is it'll come up with carb counts. So say you have a diabetic child who's looking to monitor their sugar or carbohydrate intake. That is all listed on there. It also lists any food allergies, so any of your big 8 allergies, so your gluten, your soy, lactose, all of anything that's part of the big 8. If you choose that your child or you have that allergy, it's going to actually draw a red line through any of the products that are on our menu this month that you cannot have. So you would not be able to choose that product to have for a lunch or a breakfast. So I feel it's a great resource for not only the students to have on their phones, the older students obviously, but for parents of younger children who are trying to monitor a food allergy, maybe it's something new to them, or any of the nurses. A great example of the ease of use of this app is I was literally driving here on Friday of last week, and I received a phone call from my chef manager in Smithfield in regards to a carb count. I was actually at a red light. I was able to open up my app, click on the menu item, and I got her the carb count within about 3 to 4 seconds. So it's a wonderful tool. She was able to pass that information on to a caller that had called. I think it might have been the nurse in the high school. So it's a wonderful tool to have, and it's really something that I really want to talk to the nurses about, and that's on my agenda, is to kind of get the word out for them to not only have the app, but also educate the parents and the students about downloading the app to their phone. In regards to other things that are going on in the schools, there is some signage and things that will be going up. I made my tour yesterday, Thursday and Friday, for all of the things that need to go up in the school. So you will be seeing some new signage, some new characters, some colorful figures that are going up in all the schools. And there are some menu changes. The menu that was chosen for this month of September was actually made before I was hired. I was hired the 3rd week of August, so they had actually already done that for me. Part of my plan for next week is meeting with all of my leads from the kitchens, speaking to them in regards to, okay, what worked really well? What did the kids really like? What is something they want to see back? Something that maybe had been omitted that I can add onto the menu. So really, feedback from the students is going to be a huge part of how I run the program as well, because not only do I want to serve nutritious, delicious foods, but I want it to be something that they really enjoy and something that they want. A bonus for me is I have 2 small children. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So I feel that, I have a vested interest not only in, students and the children in general, but I really understand the parents and what their needs and wants are in regards to the food service and the food lunch program. So it's something as a parent I really want to bring part of myself into the program. And that's pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions for me about anything?
I'd like a copy of your
Yes, I have. I made about 20 copies, so if you guys would like a copy, I can pass them out to you, and I can leave some here as well for the parents. Anything else? Yeah.
So I help manage the district's health and wellness subcommittee. So I'm hoping to plan quarterly meetings this year. So if you're interested in attending, I'd love to send anything along to you, and then if you can attend, great, and if not, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm part of the wellness committee in Smithfield as well, so I will definitely put that on my calendar. And what I'll do is I'll give you a flyer. It has all my contact information on the bottom, so that way you have it.
And I'll send you an email. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything else?
Anyone else? Hearing none? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Sorry I was slightly late.
Oh, you were right on time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Would you like a flyer?
Yes.
Here we go. No problem. For you, miss? Thank you. You're very welcome. Sir? No problem. Are you interested in the flyer?
Sure.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You are very welcome.
idea for student feedback.
Yes.
Samples might have been better.
Yeah, exactly.
The pigs would be happy.
Yeah, I know.
No, thank you.
You're very welcome. Here we go.
Thank you.
No problem. Miss? No problem. And I can leave the extras. Yeah.
Next item, public comment. Anyone wish to speak at public comment this evening? Hearing none. Item 6, personnel, appointments, leaves of absence, retirements, resignations.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the leave of absence of Naomi Bain, speech-language pathologist at William L. Callahan, on or about 11/29/18, for 13 weeks.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the appointments, regular appointments as presented.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And I'd also like to make a motion to approve the athletic appointments, both those that we had in the packet and those that we were given as presented.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item, old business. FY19 BSD budget update.
Motion open?
Second.
Motion open in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll accept the motion to receive and file. Unless anyone has any questions for Robin?
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. FY19 rink budget update.
Motion open?
Second.
Motion open in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Accept the motion to receive and file, if no one has any questions for Robin.
So moved?
Second.
Motion is
It's
second.
very nice to see a surplus.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, 8, superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you, Chair Brazad. Just a couple of items to bring to your attention. Pleased to report, starting with school openings, that school openings went very well. Mrs. Mayu and I visited every school on the 29th, which was our staff development day. And then on August 30th, I gave some brief opening remarks to the faculty, welcomed everyone back. This year we started a new tradition and recognized 7 teachers that achieved tenure status this year, which I think was very well received. Weather didn't really cooperate. The day was exceptionally hot, but the teachers and administrators did a great job of battling through the elements, and professional development sessions were held on that day and went very well. Our return of students also went very well. It was exceptionally busy leading up to the start of school. We are up to 125 summer registrations. We've got I would say about 20 or so even in the last week or two. So that brings the total number of summer registrations to 125. All students are currently placed, all students are currently scheduled, but again, as I mentioned in some correspondence previously to the committee, this is a good problem to have, but some of our sections, particularly at the high school, and then in grade 2 are very, very tight. Our numbers are very tight. So we did open a few sections at the high school, so we were able to schedule some of the new students. 4 sections that were opened up. It included a section of English 11, a section of English 12, a section of Spanish 2, and a proficiency-based graduation requirement seminar session. Again, weather didn't cooperate with the first few days of school return, as again, it was very hot, as we all know, but the release, 2-hour release on Thursday, due to that extreme heat, again, was well received. Buildings reached, particularly on that Wednesday, temperatures that were routinely in the low 90s and mid-90s in some classrooms. So, in an abundance of caution to make sure that kids and students and staff were healthy and safe, we decided to have the 2-hour release. Next item on my report, on August 29th, Commissioner Wagner and Governor Raimondo issued a joint declaration regarding firearms in schools. There's really 2 points to summarize in this directive. First point is that the directive prohibits everyone other than active law enforcement from carrying firearms anywhere on school grounds. And the second directive requires a protocol for active law enforcement personnel with the firearm on notifying school personnel upon their visitation to school grounds. This is a statewide directive. Part of that directive also is that the police officer, law enforcement officer has to be visibly identified anytime they're on school grounds, even if they're in plain clothes. So I'll be meeting with Colonel Lynch on Wednesday, tomorrow, to discuss the directive and come up with protocols for that directive. Next item, following the communications audit that was completed last month, we sent a parent survey out over the last few days. It was, I believe, sent out in the middle of the week last week, and then a reminder on Friday, and then again On Sunday and Monday was the final parent reminder. Results will be available on Friday. The company, Martin and Associates, that is conducting the survey will be gathering the information and presenting at an administrative meeting on Friday. This follows the communications audit that looked, I mentioned last month, that looked at kind of our digital footprint and some of the social media sites activity that we have, as well as how parents want communication, how parents are looking for communication, how families are receiving communications in today's society. So we'll get that information on Friday. Certainly we'll share that with the committee, but we're planning on using that information to guide our overall district goal of better promotion for our programs. So this is really step 2 in that process of figuring out the best way to get people information and how people would like to receive that information, and then go about devising a plan based on that data that we get on Friday. And my final item, at the upcoming town council meeting, we have requested for 2 agenda items. First is a request for use of capital funds for safety projects, and a request for a joint workshop to discuss the possibility of solar energy projects. As you know, at the last school committee meeting, we had a presentation from Train Solar Energy and discussed setting up a joint workshop with the town council. So I believe that is on their agenda for Thursday's meeting of this week. We also have a request in to use capital funds for safety projects. We have a number of safety projects that we would like to have approved this year. That includes security door lock sets, security camera upgrades. That's kind of the infrastructure of the security cameras rather than the cameras themselves. There will be some increase in actual security cameras as well. And access control upgrades, which is the swipe card system that Mr. Robinson mentioned previously at last month's meeting. I did get a request from the town manager to put on our agenda tonight using reserve funds for those safety initiatives. So the town council would have the option of either using capital funds or using school reserve funds. So it is under new business. My recommendation is not to use reserve funds out of our school budget due to an anticipated possibility of having some unbudgeted expenses, such as hiring a new teacher. If we have, right now we're totally full in second grade, so if we have one more second grade student register in the next month, we will have to open a new section, which is, of course, at a substantial cost to the district. So again, my recommendation would be to request the use for capital funds only on those safety projects. The reason we're pushing forward with these safety initiatives now is that there's a possibility through the Department of Education of receiving immediate reimbursement up to 57%. None of those concerns are critical concerns that have to be addressed immediately. So if we're unable to use the capital funds, we'll probably delay those projects until they can be budgeted in the next fiscal year. Okay. That concludes my report. I entertain any questions, if you have any.
Anyone have questions for?
Yeah, sure. Dr. Salito, you had mentioned be visibly identified. So an officer, I guess you're still going to be working on that, but would that mean he would have some type of badge or would just be visually identified at the office upon entrance?
So I think it's going to depend on the protocol that we devise with in collaboration with the colonel. But more than likely, it will probably be some kind of additional sticker rather than a visitor's pass that identifies the person as active law enforcement.
Well, if they're not, excuse me, I'm sorry. Sure. If they're not a patrolman in uniform and they're, we'll say a detective, they usually carry identification and a badge. So that, you know, there would be proper information available.
Yeah, that was just a question. Thanks.
Anyone else? Having none, thank you. Item 9, administrators' reports. We'll be
No
looking.
reports due until October.
We'll be looking forward to those reports next month.
Sure we are.
Item 10, reports of school committee subcommittees. Anyone? Having none. Item 11, correspondence, communications. Anyone? I would just like to thank Robin and Julie and the administration for the work on the summer lunch program, which I think was a great success. They served 846 meals to kids in town, so I thought that was great, and thank you for your extra effort on that. We appreciate
Heard
it.
some wonderful remarks about that. Thank you very much.
Alex?
I attended the 9/11 Memorial Assembly at the high school this morning. I think it's going to hopefully be a new yearly tradition. So I really just wanted to thank the high school history department for putting it together. It was very moving, very touching. There were 2 faculty members who gave speeches, Mr. Glenn Steiner and Mr. John Charette. And then the class poet from the class of 2020, I think, right, Julie? 2020, she recited her own powerful poem, like she was a part of the day. It was so beautifully written, and then we watched a video, and I just felt like it was a wonderful, touching way to just remember all those lost 17 years ago. So thank you to anyone who was involved at the high school to put that together.
Could I ask that the high school principal have that poem printed in the next administrative report? I would like to read that.
Yeah, I can ask Dr. Whaley, or I can ask. Okay.
That would be very nice.
Mr. Sherrod. And then I also just wanted to thank Julie and the whole administrative team for all their work they had done for the first 2 days of school. I was able to be there on the second day when Dr. Salito gave his opening remarks, and I think it was a great kickoff for the school year. So thanks to everyone involved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I don't know where I fit in.
We're going to tell you in a minute. So if you want to step up to the podium, give us your name, and then we'll see where you fit in.
Probably communications or new business. Many of you don't know me, and that's why I came tonight. I work here at Burrillville.
Have your name, please.
Right, if that would be helpful. My name is Elaine Sardella, and I started here last year, probably around the beginning of November at Burrillville High School. I am a school-based coordinator, but the position is somewhat changing now in flux, and they're trying, Prepare Rhode Island is with the Governor Workforce Board, is trying to change the name of the position to career coordinator. I am not on your payroll, that's why none of you know my name. I am actually from Woonsocket. Woonsocket has 5 school-based coordinators under a Perkins grant. So I am really employed by Woonsocket, but working here at Burrillville. And my role is to help the seniors who do not know or who are not really cut out for college and are interested in pursuing a different type of career and helping them find their way and set up internships. There's this whole thing going on with, I hate to use the word thing, but Prepare Rhode Island, and they're working to give students more work-based opportunities and providing internships for them. So that is my role here at the high school. I unfortunately only am allowed to work a certain amount of days per calendar year. So it does make my position limited, so you don't see me every day when I'm in. So it's pretty much a part-time position. And that is how all school-based coordinators / career coordinators are working. So if you don't see me, I'm not here, but when I'm here, I'm trying to work with the students this year and make my presence a little bit more known, which is why I came to the meeting tonight.
Okay, does anyone have a question for anything?
Oh.
Sure, we'll let this.
Okay.
Sure.
How do the students know about and access your availability?
Basically, well, last year, good question. Last year, I worked with a lot of the teachers setting up field trips, which we were doing. Last year, I made it a point to try to get to as many advisories as I could and introduce myself to the students. And I have a page in the Bronco newsletter that goes out every month. So I am making myself known, and being the first week of school, I'm going to get down to advisories in the next 2 weeks and introduce myself to the seniors that are there and work with them. And the guidance counselors know who I am now, and like I said, I'm trying to make myself more well-known. And it's difficult being in a part-time position, but I'm trying to get out there and get my face out there so the students know who I am and to help set up internships. We did have a student last year who, for an example, she wanted to apply to Electric Boat. She was not really going to college. She knew right away college was not for her, and her dream has always been to work at Electric Boat. And she needed help with the application, and I don't know if any of you have tried some of these online applications. They are quite tedious, and especially the one for Electric Boat. because it's a government agency. So she needed quite a bit of help, so I was able to help her with that. So things like that, and there was also 2 students, and I did put it in the newsletter this coming up in September. Prepare Rhode Island offered internships to students over the summer, and we did have 2 students from Burrillville High School who participated in the Prepare Rhode Island internship. So it was set up by the Governor's Workforce Board. We had 1 student who worked at CVS and 1 student who worked at CCRI, and they both had tremendous experiences. It was a 7-week paid internship. And that's kind of what the Governor's Workforce Board is trying to do, and I'm trying to help those students with the application, prepare them for interviews and real-life situations like that. So that's my role.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Item 12, new business. Approve homeschool applications.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Use of surplus funds for safety initiatives. Are you looking for a motion and a vote on that?
Just discussion at this point.
It's just discussion, so we did have discussion earlier. Do you want to?
My recommendation is not to use reserve funds for the safety initiative, so I'm recommending that there's not a vote on this, and that we exclusively ask the town council for use of capital funds.
Okay.
Oh, we missed those. Yeah.
Don, you okay?
I think we just have 2 field trip requests as well.
You're right, yeah.
Yep, we do.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Oh, right, I just wanted to make sure we
Thank you.
weren't skipping over.
They're coming up, right?
Yeah, it's just you're using the one that I sent you, and we got more added in. That's what happened.
Yeah, I don't have that agenda. So we will continue
Sorry.
where we were with the use of surplus funds for safety initiatives. Did you have a question on that, Don?
No, so we're in discussion with respect to that, and
Yes.
at a later date, we'll decide whether we are interested in using that, as I understand it, or we're gonna vote that we would use it in.
I
I
don't
mean,
think we're gonna be voting on it,
Yeah.
but Dr. Salito has recommended
I
that
mean,
we.
I would agree with the superintendent's recommendation that we hold off,
Thank you.
and that if that's a.
So I think that the committee to support the superintendent's recommendation would be appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Thank you.
Next item, overnight field trip request.
Motion to
Two.
approve?
Second.
Iceland?
We'll start with Iceland.
Video's right here.
Can we come?
Do you need chaperones?
Chaperones?
Yes.
Chaperones?
Sounds like a wonderful, wonderful
Yes.
trip for our students.
It is.
My wife wanted to ask if any discount for nurses. Okay, I'll relay the message.
Can I ask approximately how many students do you plan on?
We have a parent meeting Thursday night, so no one has actually signed up for the trip yet. It is scheduled to, for Easter break, April break in 2020. Give travelers a chance to stay on a monthly basis, so it reduces the cost. We don't know the exact date yet, because we don't know when that April break will be. The plan would be to leave on a Friday night and get back in time for school. Not knowing the calendar and the way the tours run, it could influence one school day on either side. We just don't know yet. Easter is April 12th, 2020. So,
Sounds like a really nice trip.
Yeah, it does. Mm.
Great opportunity for the kids.
Thank you.
We have a motion, a second, we're under discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is an athletic overnight field trip request.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion
Have
to
a great
approve.
time.
Motion to approve in a second, any discussion?
I have a question.
Question?
There is no cost for students. Where does the cost come from?
I don't know, but I would say fundraising.
They probably would do
Yeah,
a
assumption would be
Fundraising.
fundraising, but I can check into that.
Fundraising?
I could look into that and let you know.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 13, Committee on Agenda Items. Anyone?
Just like to
Hearing,
welcome everyone back to school.
yeah.
And good luck to have a great school year to all teachers, administrators, and students. Thank you.
Item 14, pending issues, Levy Rink construction project update.
Construction's moving,
Yeah, excuse me, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, could I have him go to the podium? I had some constituent say I can't hear what was being
Okay.
discussed when we're not at the podium. Thank you.
Sure.
The construction of the bathroom at the rink is moving right along quite well. We'll have it weather tight probably by the end of the week, depending on, the weather, of course, this week. And we're right on target to open up probably the first or second week of November, right in time for the hockey season. So, all in all, everything's going really well.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Robbins? Having none? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 15,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think I've